Hi, my name is Caitlin Muller, and I did the PowerPoint presentation on language acquisition, Chomsky's theory on it. And this article titled On Language and Culture, this is actually an interview based off of Chomsky's theory. So Chomsky's getting interviewed by Wiktor Osianinski, and what this whole interview article presents is a clarification on his theory and on his viewpoint, along with just general questions about how it applies to different life and to different cultures and stuff like that. So the first one I kind of want to point out is this section in general. There's a lot of information in here, but I just like the one theme of this question where it says language is then a key to human nature. So this question kind of highlights what his theory is, which when I was doing my research, I thought was a naturalist theory, but actually he has more of like a balanced theory, to where he solely does believe that we have these biological cognitive structures that we build our language off of, but they can be shaped under certain environmental influences, that it can grow under those environmental situations and stuff like that. So it's not solely a naturalistic perspective, which is what I thought. I thought he was solely just biology, but he does clarify that there are properties of cognitive structures, the organization, and genetic predispositions that are the foundation of for the development, and he is applying this to language. So it's these cognitive foundations, and then they build off of the different environmental situations. So that was actually a big highlight of this article that related to his theory. And then what I also like that connected, this would be the second point, is just a little bit more clarification. This question right here: do you mean that all our behavior is innate, genetically determined? And he answers with no, because we have, like I said, we do have those basic structures for our behavior, but it's the key word is the interaction with the environment. This is what really brought to light a better understanding of his theory. And then for my last point, it's a little bit down here. It actually talks about the differences between our languages. Okay, so this one right here. So the question is, I understand that we could have a kind of universal grammar of non-linguistic forms of human behavior as well. But if, as you say, our behavior and language are heavily guided by universal principles, why then do we differ so much all over the world? And I thought that this was a really big highlight, because there are so many different languages in the world, and they are so different. But the highlight of his answer right down here is that if we just step back, we really aren't that different. And I think that that can be incorporated in the classroom, because it shows that it just brings in that whole concept of diversity and how we can incorporate everybody's culture and stuff like that, because we all have the same foundation, we all have the same communication skills, and it like he says right in here, if we just imagine an extra human observer looking at us, they would see that there was a uniformity in our languages, and that sometimes we get stuck in our own language and our own point of view, that sometimes we don't know how to step back and see how similar we all are. We just focus on the differences, that we have different clicks or we stop at different points in our sentences. We look at those minute things, when really, in the grand scheme of it, we all have actually this uniformity. My opinion overall is that I was very surprised after reading this, because, like I said, I was under the impression that he was more naturalistic, that it was solely biological, that there was no type of environmental influence, which that I kind of didn't agree with Chomsky. But then now that I'm reading this, I 100% agree with the interaction, because I personally lean more towards like an environmental influence, but he definitely provides a good theory that incorporates both of them. So thank you very much.